20 games into a fresh and new season of baseball, Alec Bohm is the least valuable player in MLB, and that is not being hyperbolic. Per the recording of this video, Alec Bohm is the only player in baseball to register negative 1.0 baseball reference wins above replacement in this small amount of games. He's been as bad as Kyle Tucker has been good. At age 28, Alec Bohm has hit rock bottom after we all thought he already hit rock bottom 3 years ago. The only thing really going for him these days is that the Philadelphia Phillies social team has finally stopped calling him daycare because he's 28 years old, dude. After getting unceremoniously benched during last year's playoffs and getting off to this horrid start to the 2025 season, is the relationship between Alec Bohm and the Philadelphia Phillies officially doomed to fail? Or maybe is this not the worst player in baseball right now, but perhaps the most unlucky? To answer all of those questions, we're gonna have to go back to the beginning, so strap in, leave a like on today's video, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed today's content. I'm trying to hit 150,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I could really use your help, and thank you for watching. Alec Bohm was a high pick in the now infamous 2018 MLB draft, going 3rd overall. The top 10 features a litany of players that haven't quite reached their potential. With the selection of Alec Bohm, the Phillies had hoped they had found a cornerstone piece for the future core of their roster. So from the outset, the pressure was insanely high on this third base prospect, a position that the Phillies really hadn't adequately filled in 20 years. I'm talking back to the days where Hall of Famer Scott Rowland was patrolling the hot corner. And that's coming from one of the biggest Placido Polanco enthusiasts you'll ever meet, baby. At the time of selecting Bohm with the 3rd overall pick, the Phillies were mired in a deep slump of team underperformance. Following a dominant run of 5 straight NL East Division titles, the team had failed to record a winning record for 9 years in a row from 2012 to 2020. The final year of that stretch was when Alec Bohm reached the big league club at just 23 years old. Leading into the pandemic season, Alec Bohm was a consensus top 100 prospect in the game according to multiple outlets and had been ranked as Philadelphia's top prospect in both 2019 and 2020 according to MLB's rankings. Alec Bohm instantly put himself on the map as one of the bright young hitters in the game, leading all National League first-year players in hits, batting average, and runs batted in 2020. He was also arguably the most clutch player in baseball that season, hitting an absurd .452 with runners in scoring position, another league-leading mark. In fact, in the last 30 years of play, Alec Bohm was one of just 7 players with at least 50 plate appearances with runners in scoring position to register a batting clip this high, and the list of names isn't exactly the one you'd draw up by guessing. I mean, sure, you got Tony Gwynn at the top, that makes perfect sense, but when you think clutch hitting, do you think Shawan Dunston? Do you think Torrealba? How about Stuart Fairchild? I know that was the first name that came to your mind, right? Though he only played in 44 of those 60 games, there was a compelling case for Alec Bohm to be named National League Rookie of the Year. He was one of just a dozen players in baseball to finish the season with an on-base percentage of .400 or better, not to mention his .338 batting clip was 5th best in MLB among some elite company. But as was the case for many breakout stars in 2020, a full season's worth of games the following year drastically changed the perception of Alec Bohm around the league. Through his first 45 games of the year, which was essentially the same sample size as 2020, he had an OPS below 600 and had already racked up 7 errors at the hot corner, the most in the league at the time. By season's end, he had registered the 3rd most errors of any third baseman in baseball with 15 total, despite missing the entire last month of games with a demotion back to AAA. This made 2022 a true pivot point for Alec Bohm's career. He had lit the league on fire for a month and a half's worth of games in 2020, but really underperformed in his first full season. So what guy were we going to get in 2022? Well, it started with his rock bottom point, which came in just his 2nd game on April 11th in a matchup with the division rival New York Mets. Alec Bohm committed 3 throwing errors in 3 innings as a chorus of Philadelphia boos rained down on him, and rightfully so. After completing his trilogy of miscues, Alec Bohm was caught on camera saying, "I fucking hate this place," to his teammates, which fans online quickly pieced together to continue the barrage of criticism against the 25-year-old. After the game, though, instead of dodging the topic altogether, Alec Bohm came forward and apologized for what he said.
Emotions got the best of me, I said it, and do I mean it? No. Look, these people, these fans, they just want to win. Yes, I'm sorry for them, I don't mean that, and emotion just got the best of me.
What truly could have been the beginning of the end of Alec Bohm and the Philadelphia Phillies instead became the launching pad for Alec Bohm progressing as a major league player due to the fans rallying around him. The very next day when Alec Bohm came up to the plate, the Philadelphia faithful delivered a standing ovation for their struggling third baseman, which perhaps instilled him with the confidence he needed to get back on the horse and try and get better every day. The Phillies finished May of 2022 with a record of 21-29, which resulted in the firing of manager Joe Girardi. And as most baseball fans and even renowned journalists will tell you, firing your manager midseason rarely fixes your problems, right? Right? The Phillies came together and found their identity as a squad of mashers. They stormed into June with a 9-game win streak to get them back over 500, and from the beginning of that month to the end of the year, they were one of the best teams in baseball with a record of 66-46. Though he wouldn't reach the heights of his rookie year, Alec Bohm was a consistent piece of their ferocious lineup, hitting .284 and over 400 plate appearances from the beginning of June to the end of the season, and leading the team overall with 164 hits, solidifying Alec Bohm as the third baseman of the future in Philadelphia. That season was nice and all, but at age 27 last year, it finally looked as though Alec Bohm put all the pieces together to emerge as one of the best in the game at his position. Because the first month of the 2024 season was Alec Bohm's finest stretch as a big leaguer at any point in his career. Before we get on with what happened next in Alec Bohm's career though, I gotta thank today's sponsor, which is DirecTV. If you're looking to transform your baseball viewing experience in the new season, there's no better place to do it than DirecTV. When I'm watching my favorite sport on my couch or on the go, there's two things that I require. One, don't make me have a satellite dish, and two, I want that quality to be crystal clear, and DirecTV provides both of those things. If you're as passionate about baseball as I am and you're looking to transform your baseball viewing experience, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link down below, directv.com/johnboy, to explore all of DirecTV's plans and get started today. And thank you so much to DirecTV for sponsoring another one of my videos. Now let's find out what happens next in our confusing and curious story. Only Mookie Betts had a higher batting average or OPS than him. Only Shohei Ohtani collected more doubles. Only Marcell Ozuna collected more runs batted in. Bohm finished the first month on a 14-game hit streak where he batted .500, smacked 13 extra base hits, and collected 20 runs batted in. Though his other months weren't as otherworldly, Bohm still had a strong enough first half to be named the National League All-Star starter at third base, easily the biggest achievement of his now 5-year career. He even accepted the invitation to the Home Run Derby, narrowly missing out on the spot in the finals after going head-to-head with the eventual winner, Teoscar Hernandez. For this brief moment in July, under a national baseball spotlight, it felt like Alec Bohm was finally reaching the potential that Philadelphia had always seen for him when they took him third overall in the 2018 draft. But despite his storybook first half, looking deeper under the hood of his 2024 campaign will reveal that Alec Bohm's first month did a ton of the heavy lifting. Yes, he finished with a top 5 mark in all of baseball in doubles and set career highs in wins above replacement, runs batted in, slugging percentage, and OPS in a full season. But after the end of the first month, Alec Bohm was a below league average hitter for the remaining 5 months of the year. Things got so bad late in the season that Alec Bohm was eventually benched in the middle of the Phillies' 2024 playoff run. When we zoom out of April 2024 even further, the numbers get even more alarming. This stat I found from Twitter, which is never a good sentence, really blew my mind. Alec Bohm totaled more wins above replacement in this 31-game stretch in April than the entirety of the rest of his career, which is an amount of games nearing 600, aka 20 times the amount. So it begs the question, was Alec Bohm blossoming into a cornerstone piece, or did he just get really hot for a month? Like many of the other winters of his career to this point, Alec Bohm was surrounded by trade rumors once the season wrapped up, though this time it seemed far more likely an outcome considering the oddity that was his 2024 season. The Phillies put their eggs in Bohm's basket once again, standing by their third baseman. Now, weeks into a new season, Philadelphia has put themselves in a tough spot. Recently, Alec Bohm dropped in the lineup down to the 7 hole, the lowest he's batted in Philadelphia's lineup since 2023. For the first time since he said he he hated playing in Philadelphia years prior, fans have begun to heavily question Alec Bohm's mentality and approach as a big leaguer. That factor has been the most prevalent discussion regarding his entire career. There's no question as to whether or not he's a good teammate or if he's fully embraced the city of Philadelphia. But to any Phillies fan that watches the team on a daily basis, it's obvious that Alec Bohm still has mighty struggles with poor body language at age 28.
There's some people around that organization that aren't huge fans of the way he acts sometimes. But there are some people that have said he needs to basically grow up a little bit. If you watch the Phillies games all the time, you know what I'm talking about.
This kind of issue stands out tremendously when said player is teammates with someone like Bryce Harper, who has undergone more scrutiny and criticism than perhaps any other player of his time throughout his decade-plus tenure as an MLB superstar. It was Bryce Harper's response to said adversity that endeared him to baseball fans worldwide. I think it's a little unfair to just label Alec Bohm as an immature player, but the fact of it is that he plays on a team full of established veterans, many of whom have won MVP awards or won World Series and played on the biggest stages in baseball. Alec Bohm, however, is not deterred by his extremely slow start, but he said that at some point, results are going to happen, going as far to say that he'll finish the season hitting right around 280 with right around 100 RBIs. For all we know, this can still be true. After all, Alec Bohm is currently registering the highest average exit velocity and hard hit rates of his career. Per the recording of this video, Alec Bohm is a top 10 unluckiest hitter in baseball when you compare his expected slugging percentage to his actual slugging percentage. These metrics, like using someone's batting average on balls in play, isn't exactly a perfect measurement of luckiness versus unluckiness, but it's still worth weighing in. There's no doubt that Alec Bohm is making quality contact, it just happens to be at a fielder more often than not. Conversely, Alec Bohm has put together the worst walk rate of his career early in this young season. He's swinging at pitches out of the zone at a higher rate than at any other point in his career, while swinging at fewer pitches in the zone than ever before. According to batting run value, he ranks in the first percentile. But even with these tremendously poor results, in year 6 of his career, there's no doubt that Alec Bohm is a talented big league player who maybe just needs a change of scenery. And sure, at this point with hindsight vision being 2020, it's easy to say that Philadelphia had the perfect opportunity this past offseason to make that transition. For Alec Bohm and the Philadelphia Phillies, this 6-year odyssey of his career has been anything but simple. And as it stands, I don't think Alec Bohm is the worst player in baseball, not even close to that. But the bottom line for me is that I truly think these sides need a change of scenery. And once that finally happens, I think you're going to see the best baseball of Alec Bohm's career. And who knows, we're 2 weeks into the season, so this video could absolutely age like milk. Phillies fans can dunk on this one all season long, but I think a lot of them would agree with me. Let me know if you agree with me in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. That'll do it for me though, and I'll see you guys next time.